What You Don't Know podcast.
What's going on, good people? Here we go. Another episode of the What We Don't Know podcast. Mike here again. Feels good to get back in front of you guys and talk to you today. I've really been, on the last couple of weeks while I've been gone, I've really been on some mind, body, and soul type of focus. Making sure that I'm constantly reading, making sure that I'm constantly focused on things that I can do to increase my productivity, my business, making sure that I push through, do everything I need to do to make sure that I hold on my end of the bargain with myself to work hard, right? And ideally that will continue to pay off, right? And so I've really been praying a lot, really getting into my spiritual side, and also in the gym, hitting the gym hard. I'm hitting the gym like 4 or 5 times a week, a good mix, cardio, some TRX, some lifting weights. So I'm feeling good. And I think it's important to be working on all cylinders in that way. Also, what's going on, Galvanized Financial, with a partnership with Episcopal Community Services, teaching financial literacy to right now grades 3 through 5 there, creating just more programming. We're starting to get to the children young, right? It's easier to work with the child than to, as they say, maybe fix broken adults, right? Whatever that saying is. So I totally agree with the administration to get in front of the youth, start teaching them solid money management principles early, financial literacy early. I mean, these kids are starting to understand what stocks are, what bonds are, and just a wealth of information early. And I'm just pleased and fulfilled to play some part in that. And I appreciate the opportunity. So if you're a school administrator out there and would like to get in touch with me and how we can work together to get financial literacy in your school, in your district, please reach out. I'm more than happy to talk to you. You can reach out to me at info, I-N-F-O, at galvanizedfinancial.com. Again, that's info at galvanizedfinancial.com. Get right back to you, and hopefully we can talk about spreading the financial literacy message across the nation and abroad, right? There's no borders now. If you're listening to this podcast, I hear we have people out in Poland, we have people out in South America. There's translation devices we can use, all types of things that we can do to make sure that we get financial literacy in front of a very much needed population. So with that said, I want to get right into today's episode. Lots going on in the market, right? You have all the people talking about where the stock market's so volatile right now. You have Dogecoin going through the roof, then coming down again. You have Bitcoin dropping under 60,000, and looks like it's continued to retreat more. And there's just a lot of craziness going on, right? One of the things that I wanted to make sure that I do, there's a lot of talking heads out there, a lot of people out there that are gonna tell you or try to sell you something based upon a lesson or a course or whatever it happens to be in finance, right? They have these platforms or just pontificating and giving their opinion on any topic. So with that, I always want to I want to also have a financial conversation. I don't want to get away from that, but what I try to do is give you solutions and things that I feel you need to think about as you come across these challenging times. And when you don't know what to do, maybe it's just a different perspective, just a different thought or an idea that may come in handy, that may add some type of value. So with that, I want to talk about inflation, and much worse than that, hyperinflation. Okay? And if you're seeing what's going on in the market, if you're really paying attention, there are people out there that are talking about there is some impending doom and gloom on the market. How long? Who's to say? But there may be some sort of correction. There may be some sort of turbulent time that's on the horizon. If you're someone who's in the financial game, names such as Ray Dalio, right? Charlie Munger is another name. Michael Burry, Burry. These people are selling stocks, feeling that the market fall will be very painful, and there's a lot of factors that are causing that. Was one of the biggest factors that are attributing to this impending correction that a lot of people feel, and is the printing of money, right? If you have seen in these recent times, with the stimulus checks and just the overall printing of money to try to save this economy and also keep the people somewhat comfortable, or at least able to tread water for a while by stimulating them through these cash check payments, we're printing a lot of money. And this has been shown in history when other countries, other economies do this, it tends to hurt their currency, and the dollar looks like it will correct, and with that, stocks along with it. And so, what are some things that, if they're continuing to print this money, is being one issue. The second issue is we have less working adults between the ages of 15 and 64 in the system, right? We have less working adults. We have a huge aged population, whether baby boomers and beyond, but we do have a huge aged population. So you have less workers at work right now between the age of 64. So that's going to drive up prices of cost of goods, because the businesses and corporations, they're going to pass that cost on to you, the consumer. So the price of goods are going to continue to rise, okay? And you have this money that you're going to use to continue to throw at these goods or these items, right? So it's this vicious cycle that cannot sustain itself, right? And so that's when you move into hyperinflation, which it's a term to describe rapid, excessive, and out of control general price increases in the economy. Inflation is already a measure of the pace of rising prices for goods and services. But hyperinflation is rapidly rising inflation, and it could typically measure more than 50% a month. And it can quickly erode the real value of the local currency or the US dollar as the prices of all goods increase. So this is a problem. This is an issue, and it's going to happen. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but have some of your subscriptions gone up? Do you notice that subscription that was $10? I think my Netflix went up. My Spotify used to be $9.99. What is it now? $12.99. Are you paying attention? Things are slowly becoming higher, just in general, higher than that normal 2% that we normally get every year if you're working a job. The 2% a year is basically the average cost of goods every year, right? So you work in that job, you get that 3%, 4%. At least they tend to think they're keeping you on pace with inflation, right? Unless that's what they tell you anyway, right? If you get that 3%, 4%, you're like, you get all upset. I remember that working at companies, knowing that their average cost of goods or inflation is 2%. You work in a full year, January through December. You sit down for your annual review. Mike, you've done great. You've done well. Your expected results were hit. Your data consistently exceeds. You'll do that. Work on that next year. You totally met the standards of the role. Here's your 3% raise. And you're like, oh, and then you're all sad and you're mad for like 2 months behind it. And then you have to just get over it and then try to make the next year the best you can and then not get fired, right? Everyone in corporate America knows what I'm talking about, but I digress. So back to inflation And this is a problem. Quickly erode the real value, and the prices of all goods will increase. So how can I help you with the solution to this, right? I don't want to just be that person and say, hey, it's happening. Just sit there and just be a victim, right? Well, I'm not. It's not about that. I want to tell you. I want to give you some solutions, and I have three. These are my three solutions to deal with these hyperinflationary times that I think are in front of us. And obviously, you do see the cost of goods going higher. So the three things I want to, or three tools or solutions, I should say, that I feel can help in these times to come is one, buy real estate. If you can afford it, buy real estate. Real estate is, I know in Philadelphia and all over the country, Pennsylvania, it's on fire, right? Real estate tends to hold its value and increase over time. As prices in goods increase, prices of homes increase. When you like to sell a home, wouldn't you like to benefit from that? Again, as prices in goods increase due to an accelerated amount of inflation, that goes for homes, that goes for real estate. Buy real estate. Put your money in real estate. It's better than keeping in a falling dollar, right? If you have 3 to 6 months or 3 to 6 months of fixed or variable expenses is one thing, but if you have maybe a year, if you have some considerable savings, you should really think about real estate because it holds its value, it appreciates, and at least it's not tied to a falling dollar. And as the prices of goods increase, so will homes. So that's a sure way to kind of aid or hedge against inflation and hyperinflation. What's another way? Number two, consumer staples, right? What are consumer staples? Consumer staples are essential products that include typical products such as food, beverages, household goods, hygiene products. But that category can also include items as alcohol, tobacco. These are typically those products that people are, I should say, unwilling, unable to cut out of their budgets, regardless of their financial situation. It's a staple in their overall budget. Consumer staples are non-cyclical, meaning that they're always in demand, year-round. No matter how well the economy is, people are going to smoke those Newports, right? No matter how well the economy is doing or not doing, people are going to drink that Ciroc, that Douce, right? People are going to drink that Patron. No matter what, good or bad times, you have to be lit, right? It's a staple, regardless, right? So they're just impervious to business cycles. They're just rock solid. And people tend to demand consumer staples at a relatively, constant level, regardless of the price. So with that said, if you look at items such as McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, LVMH, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy, right? Tobacco companies, Philip Morris, Altria, whatever. These are things, household goods, food and beverage, that prices are going to increase and people don't really typically care about the price. They're going to buy it. In Philadelphia, they had a soda tax, like a huge soda tax on soft drinks and sugary items. People are still going to buy them. Yeah, you had your certain few that might have traveled to the outskirts of Philadelphia, but most people still bought that Pepsi. They still bought that sweet tea. Yeah, they might have complained. Yeah, I can't believe this so much. But yeah, they still bought it. It's still bought. People still in New York City to buy a pack of Newports. I don't smoke Newports. I don't smoke cigarettes or anything. But these cigarettes are over $10 a pack. People still buy them. Yeah, you have that certain population that might sell a loosey or something like that. But overall, people that smoked cigarettes were gonna buy those cigarettes. Period. They had to have their nicotine fix, right? So these are things, consumer staples are products that people need, people love, and the price. And if the price increases, you need to maybe you should be a part of that. How do you invest? They have mutual funds, ETFs, that are basically named the Consumer Staples Fund. Vanguard has one. Vanguard has an ETF. Vanguard has a fund. I'm not going to get into the symbol and everything, but they're out there. Google it. There's certain funds. Look at them. Make sure they have a low expense ratio, or the lowest possible, and make sure they have a good tracking area against the index. And hey, maybe that's something that you look at. I know that was a positive performing year to date sector. Maybe it will continue, right? So maybe that is a way you can passively invest in the demand for these products that people cannot get rid of in their daily lives. Number 3, the most important, the best and most important, sell something. Okay? And I know you were probably thinking there was going to be some crazy deep, or maybe not, but yeah, it's just that simple. Sell something. Be an entrepreneur. Create a business. I don't care if it's selling French toast sticks or whatever. Selling t-shirts. Sell something. Charge. As people have this money that's been generated, they have excess. Typically, they may have this excess cash, right? So why not sell something to them, right? Raise your prices. Maybe you have something that of value you can offer, right? Sell something. Sell something of value. We're not talking about take people's money and just give them something frivolous. But I'm saying, put your mind to it. Think about it. Sell something, right? This is something, if you're an entrepreneur and or if you have even a side job or side hustle, this is something that you could take advantage of by selling people products, and maybe you sell the individuals a consumer staple. Maybe your business is around consumer staple products. I have friends that are into the wine industry, consumer staple. People are going to have their wine. There's a whole wine renaissance going on, right? All types of people that weren't talking about wine before probably are talking about wine now. Right? Have you been invited to maybe a wine tasting or something like that? It's a consumer staple, right? It's just something that people need and people want regardless. Maybe you come up with a drink. I don't know, like even a healthy drink. People are thinking about their being health conscious. Maybe it's something they feel that they need. They need that new green juice that they haven't bought yet. Right? So think about that. So just again to recap, a way to kind of offset the pending doom and gloom, and if the government continues to print money, we continue to see these prices of goods continue to rise, and of course the workforce shrinking, and those costs being passed on to you, the consumer. 3 things got to really think about. If you haven't before, buy real estate. Invest in real estate, whether it's passive, whether it's active, and you're just going out and buying it, whatever, invest in real estate. Prices are going to go up. And so in real estate usually are in line with that. Consumer staples, we talked about that. Essential products. There's stocks, there's ETFs that track consumer staples index. There's certain securities, whether it's a wine stock, or whether it's a liquor or liquor security like LVMH, right? Jay-Z just sold Ace of Spade to LVMH, Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy, right? So just there's other ways to invest. ETFs, they're right, exchange traded funds there that track that track consumer staples, the index, or just consumer staples themselves. And last but not least, sell something. Entrepreneur. People are paying more for products and services. Sell something of value. Get involved. Get engaged. Right? Hopefully the What We Don't Know podcast is informative. And it gives you something that you can use, something that you didn't know yesterday. Hopefully you'll feel like I wasn't just talking to you for the last 20 minutes. Hopefully I gave you something. And you say, you know what? If this happens, I gotta know how to prepare myself a little better. Okay? Again, I would love to hear from you. Wherever you are, I see we have listeners almost on every continent. I appreciate you. Shoot me an email. Shout me out. info@galvanizefinancial.com. I want to hear from you. Poland, I want to hear from you. Those 2 people in New Zealand, what's up? You gonna listen again? Holler at me. You can shoot me an email. info@galvanizefinancial.com. What do you want to hear more about? Any other? Let me know what's on your mind. South America, hit me up. Hit me up. info@galvanizefinancial.com. Well, that's it for me. It's another episode. Hopefully you got something out of it. I got something out of talking to you. Like I said, this is therapeutic for me. Until next time, you stay blessed. Peace.